When we came up with the name of the shop, Schorem, which is actually a really, really bad word in Holland. When I called my mom that I said we found the name of the shop and it was going to be Schorem, she started crying. She was like, I don't want anybody to call my son Schorem. And I was like, oh mom, they've been doing that for years. We started Schorem to have some fun because we've known each other for, what, 20 years? We've known each other for a long time, and we really wanted to do something that we wanted to do for ourselves. We wanted to make a shop that we wanted to go to. And now we kind of made a decision like, okay, we are not gonna look at whatever a customer might want. We're gonna do what we want to do. So we're gonna play our kind of music, and we're only gonna cut the haircuts that we want to cut. Once we started that shop, we kind of found out that there was this niche in the world that we forgot about, that you have this third place in society. Yeah, so you got your work, and you got your family, and every man needs a place to relieve the stress from those two, actually. I mean, we were at a bar and there was this guy and he was having such a big mouth, chasing all the women, you know, he didn't have any money, he was everybody asking for money for a beer, blah, 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 but he was like the center point of that bar, and we were like, that's the guy we need.
Before I started here, no one could get me in the necktie, even if they killed me first. And yeah, now it's sort of a part of me, you know. I think to succeed as a barber, the most important thing is that you want to learn and want to keep learning. Like as soon as you think you know it all, you won't get better anymore. And I also think the biggest part is your personality. Like if you're a shy person and you're not talking to anyone, yeah, like I think the most important thing of a barber is to have a good conversation with your client and not to be afraid to make mistakes while you're learning, because you learn from your mistakes. I like barbering because I like to work with people, and like every 40-45 minutes you put a smile on someone's face and he thanks you for what you've done. That's good. And it also feels like a safe profession, because like wherever I am in the world with my hands and my scissors I can make some money, you know. I used to work at the skate shop here. The owner sold it to someone else and I couldn't work for him, so I quit, and I still needed money, so I went work as a garbage man. Then Lane and Brett's opened the store, and it got so busy that they asked me if I wanted to cut hair for them. And yeah, Brett just sort of educated me, taught me all that need to be taught, and now I'm a barber. For me, in this shop, it's like a big band of brothers, you know. We're all sort of family, all good friends of each other. And yeah, that feels really good. Like, yeah, as Schorem, we're all into, like, there's like 4 guys that used to really fanatically skateboarded. So yeah, I think that subculture is connected with the barbershop.
We in Holland, if you go to barber school, you get a wild clipper. And I know that every barber in the world that's watching this knows exactly what we're talking about when you're talking about your tools. You know, you got to have your comb and you got to have your clipper. I mean, you can travel the world, but if somebody's will give you another clipper or another comb, you're like, no, I'm sorry, I can do a haircut with that. You know, and it's stupid because, well, but it's that thing, you know, it's the weight, like a glove. I mean, I love the sound when I turn it on, you know, it's like, and then you feel the blade. I mean, every guy wants a heavy tool in his hands, right? What? What? That's some... I love the way it vibrates. Well, the cool thing is, I mean, I remember my first haircut. I mean, I was this high school dropout. I was not interested in school. I only wanted to ride my skateboard, smoke weed, and, well, throw my life away. Till that, and I had that group of skateboarders and punk rockers in school, and I started shaving mohawks. And, well, my father had this old wild clipper, and that's how it got started. And all the kids in school knew, like, oh, Rob's doing haircuts. I had no idea. Guys were bringing their record sleeves, you know, and that's how I learned about the pompadours, the Teddy Quiffs and everything. And I just had that wild clip because my father used to shave all his hair off, and all the kids used to know it. So that was the first clipper I ever picked up. And I'm still using it. I mean, that's a clipper I learned to work with. And I mean, I know the weight of that clipper. I know exactly what it does. I mean, the little handle on the sides when I have to fade and everything. This is like my clipper is. I can do it with my eyes closed. I know exactly what it does. You know, I've been trying to get to know my wife for a very long time, but I'm nearly as close with my wife as I am with my wild clippers. Wow. For guys, well, in Holland, I'm just talking about my environment. I don't know what's happening around the world, but in our town, we know that we changed for guys from having to have a haircut into something that they're actually looking forward to spend the day with the guys, you know? And that's what we guys need, spend the day with the guys, be amongst your peers. Because when guys would come in, they would be like, so you only do classic haircuts. And for us, it's a done deal what a classic haircut is. I mean, if you look at the the Weapon movies, you go like, that's not a classic haircut. I mean, everybody wanted to have the Mel Gibson thing, but now when you look back, you laugh. But if you look at The Gone with the Wind or any movie with Errol Flynn or James Bond, those are the classics. Those are timeless. So for us it was a done deal, but for clients it was kind of hard to, okay, so I want this or that. Is that a classic haircut?
We had to educate them again.
We had to kind of educate them like, look, this is what a man is supposed to look like. And so then we came up with that idea of making a poster to put on the wall of the shop. So just that guys didn't have to look into a magazine with perfect models with like 12 abs and the perfect jawline and then going like, oh, I'm not gonna look like that, so I'm not gonna ask for the haircut anyway. You know, because they make that magazine for the women, you know, because hairdressers think that's where the money is, you know, and it's not true. So we were like, okay, so we're gonna make a poster because a guy, you know, we are so simple, it's kind of complicated, yeah? So a guy just wants to point at the wall, oh, I want that one. So we made those posters, and the guys on those posters, I mean, they're real people with real haircuts. I mean, if you look at one of those guys, you know you can look like one of those guys.
When we started the shop, there was also a lot of photographers that came by in the shop and wanted to take pictures. And most of them, they wanted like with the towel, the classic shot, and they made thousands of pictures. It took like hours and hours every time. And then one day we got a phone call from a guy who was still studying photography. If he wanted to make the same picture, like, okay, you can come again. And he came in, he put down his camera, he said, okay, go stand. We were like this, and he was like, click, that's it.
One shot yellow.
They say I only took one photo, but I shot one roll of film, and that was it, and then came one photo from that roll. Well, when we first started out working at the old shop, it's just Rob and me, and Rob doing the haircut in the downstairs next to the toilet. And we just had a simple white screen and one flash gun, and yeah, it was all about just keeping it simple. We didn't want to do the fancy high-end men's photography you saw back in the day. We want to keep ugly people, pretty people, people from all sorts of types of age and the way they looked, all different kind of people, and we really liked that. And it was struggling. My back was at the back of the supply with all the cans and everything, and shit was falling down. Rob was just standing on the corner combing the hair like nearly falling down and everything, and it had character the way we worked back then. And nowadays we have a little setup downstairs here in the shop with a white screen and a black screen and a proper lighting setup, and so it improved the way we work. But I really liked the way we worked back then, just struggling to make that perfect picture. And Rob and me can get really happy about shooting the photos, but sometimes we both get we almost get angry and pissed off even at each other because we can't get the right shot. We always try to keep the use of Photoshop and editing and as to a minimum, because we want people to see that it are real haircuts and not plastic made up Photoshop haircuts, because we both hate it, and then it becomes too neat and not Schorem anymore. So
one shot yellen, snelle yellen. And yeah, that was the start of a friendship.
No, he took that one. I mean, photographers always have to move shit around and have. I know. They put the light over there, stand like this, take 100 photos. Yeah, just walked in, took one photo, and that was the best photo anybody has ever taken. And then we found out he was into rock and roll music, hardcore music, metal, blah blah. So we hit it off, man. We hit it off from day one. We did Scumbash because, well, Scumbash is one day of goddamn rock and roll. Because when we started this shop, Schorem was born out of the love for music and classical haircuts, the pompadour, and especially haircuts that go with the subcultures that they were born in, psycho quivs, the pompadours and everything. So when we started, those were the guys that we got. But when it got more crowded and everything, waiting times went up. We kind of lost that hardcore crowd that we were so proud to cut. So we were like, okay, what can we do to give those guys something back? And that's pretty much how Scumbash was born. I really think a barbershop is a place where you not only go for a haircut, but it's a place where you meet old friends, you make new friends, and the memories are made or relived in a barbershop. What we see is that a guy comes in with his son and his father, and he's got his father with him to relive days gone by, and his son that's actually living days to come, because he will remember that first day in the barbershop forever. So it's kind of like a circle of manhood. You got that guy in the middle being proud of his father and his son. We all have a memory, even when you haven't gone to the barbershop on the hand of your father, you got an idea of how it should be. Because that's kind of where you learn how to interact amongst guys, how to place your jokes. It's how you tell your stories, because that's what we do. We tell stories. Guys will always tell a story, and there is always a guy with a better story to tell. So I think that's the great thing of a barbershop. Those guys interacting with each other. Yeah, you'll never forget your first time when you went with your father, and your father will not forget the last time he went with his son. We love to drink beer, yeah, and when you're in our shop, you don't have to hold it in. Right?
Yep.